The mansion was frighteningly quiet in the morning, almost as if danger itself was still asleep, waiting. The sun dared to slip through the thick curtains, but even its light felt unwelcome here, swallowed by shadows that owned every corner. A soft knock came at your door, polite yet urgent. Miss Wyan, Mr. John requests your presence at the breakfast table. He's waiting downstairs. Inhaled slowly, reminding yourself that this place was now your home, whether you liked it or not. Your footsteps follow the maid through a hallway decorated with paintings of battlefields and victory. Victories bought through blood you had only begun to understand. With each step, you could feel the power of his place tightening around you like a leash, and then your breath hitched the moment you saw him. He sat at the long dining table made of dark mahogany, his posture relaxed yet commanding, as if even the air needed permission to move near him. His dark hair fell slightly over his forehead, messy in a charmingly dangerous way that should have been illegal. The black silk shirt he wore clung to his frame, sleeves rolled just enough to reveal veins and tattoos that hinted at sins committed in silence. He looked like someone forged from shadows and arrogance. His gaze lifted and collided with yours, boldly, unapologetically. There was no shyness in his stare, no attempt to hide the clear desire mixed with curiosity burning in those eyes. His gaze traveled down your figure, slow, calculating, like he was peeling your soul open layer by layer. He didn't blink, he didn't disguise the hunger. It was possessive, territorial, a predator noticing movement in his territory. Finally, his lips parted and a dangerous smug tugged at the corner. So you do look different with clothes on. Interesting. I was starting to think you preferred wandering around my house without clothes. Your breath caught, your fingers curled against your sides. He wasn't joking, he was reminding you of last night, the moment he discovered you half exposed in his kitchen. Before you could say anything, Mr. John entered. His presence brought warmth, but even warmth had scars here. Why, dear, come. Don't stand there, you are one of us now. You took a step forward, unsure of whether to sit, hoping for space, distance, air. But Jungkook shifted slightly and tapped the empty chair beside him, his eyes never leaving your face. He didn't ask, he summoned. Here, sit next to me. You hesitated, your pulse jumped, and that only made his eyes narrow, like he enjoyed the way nervousness looked on you. Mr. John noticed the tension and smiled with an attempt at comfort. You don't have to be afraid of him. He's my son, John Jungkook. He may appear rough, but he knows how to protect the people who matter. Jungkook let out a quiet laugh at that, not loud, not mocking, but dark enough that it made your nerve prick. He leaned a little closer, his shoulder almost touching yours. He whispered for only you to hear. Afraid, good. Fear means you understand the rules of survival. Mr. John began serving food while speaking calmly, unaware that war was silently unfolding beside him. Did you sleep well? You smiled slightly and nodded. Yes, thank you so much for letting me stay here. He smiled. No need to thank me. Then he looked at his son. Wine is the daughter of Yoon Ji-ho. That man saved my life once. He was such a loyal man. She lost him recently and I fear his death has something to do with enemies I thought we buried long ago. Jungkook's attention sharpened like a blade. Who touched her father? We are still finding out, but last night, the Viper clan, I'm still not sure what she was doing there, but they would have taken her if I hadn't gotten there in time. He looked at you while you lowered your eyes. How could you tell them that? You walked to them with your own will. You knew you'll make it to somewhere near. That was the moment Jungkook changed. His playful arrogance vanished, replaced by a quiet lethal rage. His jaw flexed, his fingers tightened around the fork as if any moment he might drive it into someone's throat. His voice dripped into something terrifying. The vipers think they can lay a finger on her and still breathe. Tell me you ordered their execution. By nightfall they will be gone, Mr. John said calmly. Jungkook turned his head to you, nothing gentle left in him. You won't worry about them again. No one touches what's under this roof. You swallowed, heat and fear mixing dangerously in your stomach. Does that include you, or do you get to break your own rules? His eyes softened just a fraction, but not with kindness, with interest and with hunger. He leaned closer so much that his breath brushed her cheek. I don't break my rules, Angel. I am the rules. You looked away, but he didn't let you run that easily. His fingers brushed the chair behind you, close enough to your waist that you could feel his intent. Eat, you'll need strength to survive in my world, and even more strength to survive me. You felt your pulse flutter, you had walked into danger, but somehow your heart was not trying to run. It was quietly, stupidly excited because even in hell, there was someone sitting beside you who owned all the fire. You lifted the glass of water to your lips, trying to remain composed while Jungkook's dark eyes stayed locked on you, studying every blink, every breath, every tiny weakness he could devour. But what he didn't see was your mind behind your still expression, thoughts sharpened like knives. John Jungkook was dangerous, deadly, unpredictable, yet there was something else in his gaze, a claim like he had already chosen you, like you were not just a guest here, but something he wanted to own, and that was your opportunity. Your father warned you about this world, but he never realized that danger didn't scare you. It fueled you. Power wasn't something you wanted, it was something you were born to take. You placed the glass down gently, but inside your heart, a decision was made, silent but absolute. You would use his obsession, his desire, his weakness for you. Because if the most feared mafia king wanted you, then the entire underworld would eventually bow to you. You would play innocent, you would play smart, you would let him believe he was leading. Until the moment he realized you were the one ruling him. You glanced at Jungkook again and he caught the shift in your eyes, a spark he hadn't noticed before. His smug deepened, he thought your pulse quickened out of fear. But only you knew the truth. This wasn't fear, it was strategy. Your mind whispered, fall for me, John Jungkook, crave me, lose yourself in me, because once I have your heart in chains, this empire will belong to me. But another truth lingered. The moment he discovered you were using him, even the devil would fear his wrath. You were playing with a flame that could either light your crown or burn your entire body to ash. And for the first time you smiled, just a small hidden curve of your lips, because you weren't running from the fire, you were stepping into it willingly. Do you know how to fight? He asked suddenly, bringing you back from your thoughts. You stiffened slightly, lowering your lashes before shaking your head. No. Jungkook's eyes darkened, not angry, not disappointed, possessive. And guns, knives. You shook your head again, voice steady but soft. I've never even touched one. He leaned back in his chair, tongue pushing against his cheek as if trying to suppress a reaction. Mr. John placed his teacup down with a subtle thud. The conversation was turning serious. This world feeds on weakness and devours those who cannot defend themselves. You looked between them, two kings discussing your survival like the only acceptable outcome was becoming something more than a sheltered girl. If you wish to stay here, you must learn self defense, weapons, strategy, everything you secretly craved, everything your father once forbid. Your heart drummed in victory, but you made sure your voice sounded hesitant, unsure. If you think it's necessary. Mr. John nodded. It is, and it will make him feel at ease. His chin tilted toward Jungkook. You swallowed the smile that almost rose because you understood what he meant. Jungkook would kill anyone who touched you, but he needed to know you could kill too. Jungkook finally spoke again. I'll train her. Mr. John blinked, surprised. Everyone would have been. John Jungkook didn't train anyone himself. Are you sure I can assign? Jungkook spoke, cutting him, eyes locked on you. No one else touches her. His voice lowered to a warning. She's mine to protect. Your pulse jumped, not in fear, in satisfaction. You had him exactly where you wanted. You pretended to be nervous. You will train me. I will teach you everything, how to fight, how to survive, how to win. There it was, your door into power. You let your voice tremble perfectly like a frightened girl holding on to her only safety. Then please guide me. His eyes burned with pleasure. Mr. John smiled, unaware of the war you had already begun, a war where his son would lose himself to you. The breakfast had ended with a decision, a dangerous one, a decision that would change everything. Jungkook led you through the long hallway, quiet, cold, filled with framed pictures of bloodline and violence. His footsteps were powerful, confident, the footsteps of a king who feared nothing. Yours were quieter, but not weak. You were calculating, learning, planning. He pushed open a heavy door. Inside a massive private training facility. Dark walls, weapons hanging like artwork, glass floor reflecting pain and power. You swallowed. Jungkook didn't miss it. He tilted his head slightly, eyes dragging over you, slow, observant. Men in black vests stood around the arena, loading weapons, preparing for the day, their faces carved from stone. You stepped inside. And every head turned, not because you were beautiful, though you were, not because you didn't belong, though you absolutely didn't. No, they stared because you were beside John Jungkook. John Jungkook, who never let a woman stand within reach of his shadow unless she was already dead. But here he was, a step behind you, his hand hovering near the small of your back, not touching but close enough to warn the world, mine. The men exchanged glances, confusion, disbelief, jealousy, all swallowed quickly by fear. No one dared whisper. Jungkook noticed their curiosity and smiled, a slow, dangerous curve that promised violence. If I see even one of you look at her longer than a second, I will take your eyes myself. He spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. Silence fell thick, terrified. You lowered your lashes, pretending to shrink under the attention, playing the fragile girl who needed protection. Inside, you smiled because you just saw it. His greatest weakness was you. He walked around you, his tone shifting, softer, intense. Don't tell me you are scared already. You lifted your chin, refusing to show even a drop of fear. I'm not scared, just taking it all in. A slow smirk crawled onto his lips, dark approval. Good. Fear makes people stupid, but curiosity? He stepped closer, breath ghosting your ear. That makes people dangerous. Your pulse spiked. You hated that he could feel it. I want to learn. I want to fight. His eyes sharpened like he had waited years to hear those words. You will. I'll shape you myself. A pause, his voice turning rougher. You belong under me in every way that matters. Heat crawled up your neck. You stepped back, he followed, always closing distance, always taking more. You forced your voice steady. Your father said it's important for survival. He chuckled. My father doesn't know what danger truly looks like. He grabbed her wrist gently but firmly, but I do. He placed her hand against his chest, over his heartbeat. In this world, you defend yourself, or someone like me defends you. You stared straight into his eyes, felt his obsession burn, hungry, possessive, claiming, and that's when you made your first real move. You leaned in just a little, shy, trembling, but your mind was calm and sharp. And you'll protect me, right, Jungkook? His jaw clenched like he had been hit. Hook, line, sink. He looked dead serious. I will burn this world to the ground before I let anyone touch you. There it was, his weakness, you, and he didn't even realize. You just placed a leash around the most feared mafia king. You stepped back with a small, sweet smile, the perfect mask. Then teach me. His expression darkened, like you had given him the greatest gift in existence. He grabbed two knives, tossed one to you. It hit your palm, cold and heavy. Your fingers tightened around it. Lesson 1. When someone wants to hurt you, he disappeared, a blur behind you now. The cold kiss of metal pressed to your throat. He whispered against your neck. You heard them first. Your breath trembled, not from fear, from thrill. He released you, stepping back, with that wicked smirk. Again. You turn, eyes fierce, grip strong, because this is where your transformation begins, where innocence becomes weapon, where prey became predator, and all Jungkook could see was a girl he wanted to worship and destroy at the same time. The girl he already loved, the girl who would one day either rule beside him or ruin him completely.